Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you're doing amazingly well. And today is our ninth rosa. And I'm super excited for the two names that we're being guided by Allah. Every Ramzan, I do try to connect to Allah in a different way. And this Ramzan, I've been sharing one name a day. And generally, like, if there are two names that come along with it, like the opposite meanings or something that goes side by side. So I try and share them together with you. Now, these two names are something that completely changed my life. And I remember reciting them very clearly and going into a space where I kind of left everything behind. And it was like a rebirth moment for me. So I'm just going to share them with you. They're Ya Abadiyy and Ya Azaliyy. Um, it says here Azaliyy here, so totally up to you how you pronounce it. The way I see it is Allah's names, you can't go wrong. Even if you pronounce them, but your niyat is that what the name means, then you're okay. Because sometimes, well, personally, I'll share this about myself because I was terrified doing, of writing the names of Allah because I was like, गलती हो जाएगी, पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा, गलत नाम लिख दिया. You see, I don't have, if my intentions are good, my Allah will guide me to that, what is going to be in pleasure of him. Like, he won't let me do anything wrong because he's holding me, right? Because that's my faith in him. So regardless of how you sound it, if your niyat is good, of course we want to say the right word, but God forbid, agar kabhi galti ho jaye, to our Allah is not the kind who's going to be like, oh, isne ye galat bola tha, iski to pitai honi hai. Aisa kuch nahi seen, right? So we have to remember that Allah is Rahman and Rahim, and may Allah forgive us if we make a mistake, when we make a mistake, because we will make a mistake. And I ask forgiveness from Allah as I pronounce these names, but I'm just going to go with what this book says, Ya Abadiyy and Ya Azaliyy. Al-Azali is the continuation of time without respect to a beginning. It's like an eternal time which has no beginning whatsoever. It is not preceded by non-existence, meaning like it's not like meant to have no existence at all. There is a space which is before time, before beginning, before all, but it still had the existence of creator, of Allah. In most spiritual traditions, we find descriptions of events happening in pre-eternity, but pre-eternity has layers or levels within it. For example, at the level of ideas in the mind of God, there are descriptions in the Quran of God's interactions with angels. Just as Azali is freed from the limit of a beginning, Abadi is freed from the limit of an end and has been called post eternity. So, and then it says, see Ya Baqi, 96th name, which is what remains, both in eternity and post eternity. That what will remain is going to be Ya Baqi. Now, just a little story about these two names. I was working in a nursing home taking care of elderly people, and it was one of the best gifts Allah could truly give me. But seeing them in the state that they were, of course, a lot of realizations happened because my brain never rests, right? What is Allah teaching me? What am I supposed to be doing? Blah, blah, blah. And while I was in that space, I knew that my time there had ended and I needed to take the leap of faith towards something that I wanted to do on my own, which is, running my sessions and trying to focus on Allah, read my Quran, and, dive really into the names of Allah and start sharing them more regularly. But because I was working in a like a job kind of situation, I was very drained. And so I knew that a time had come where I needed to make the jump, but I wasn't sure if it was the right thing or not. So I started reading these two names, and I am not lying to you. My life has never been the same since that day. I remember walking up and down the corridor, looking at these people, taking care of them, being attentive and, fixing their clothes and putting blanket on them, feeding them, and all that sort of stuff, right? I don't want to get into the details of that, but I knew that my time there had ended and something had to move, something had to shift in the timeline that I needed to do something. Like there was some action I was meant to take, and I wasn't sure what that action would be. And then Allah gifted me these two names, Ya Abadiyy, Ya Azaliyy and Ya Baqi. I recited them like a tasbih for, I don't think for a very long time, just a few minutes, but I said to Allah that my time belongs to you, and so make it that what you are happy with. Let me use my time in a way that you are going to be happy with. And within days, that job, I left and I started doing this. And so I know that this is my calling. Getting really into the names of Allah is something that I can't explain how much I love. So anyway, this was a side story that I thought I'll share with you guys. So if that's something that you also need to do, you need to come into a new being of your own self, not necessarily change your physical reality, but try to adapt to the newness of you. Like when you're coming closer to Allah, a new being of you anyway comes into life. And so when you allow these two names to sort of, you know, guide you, hold you, help you, and you want your time to be such that every single second of your moment on this planet is you doing that what pleases him, then this is the name, these are the two names which will completely shift your life's trajectory in ways you will not imagine. Like, check out the excitement I have. But for this, I'm going to give you a little exercise which I started doing daily at one time. This was just for me to ground myself. This is very simple. I'm going to do it on a small sheet of paper, and while you're doing it, I will leave. Now I want to share something about these exercises that I share with you. They are not just art pieces. Please understand that these are inspired by a certain essence and energy that I tap into intuitively, and then I bring that into the physical reality of creating these pieces. Of course, the whole thing that you create with me, that what your creative juices, what colors, what patterns, this, that you do is your own creativity. But when you follow what I'm asking you to follow or guiding you to follow, it's not me telling you, commanding you that do this and do that. It is basically protecting you and sort of cradling you inwards towards the name's essence. Now you can completely shift it and say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Then I highly recommend that you check your listening powers, because when you're not able to get guidance from that what I'm sharing in the session, then that means that there's a layer of your internal world that is not receptive to taking guidance in and flowing with it. Right? There's enough boundaries for you to expand, break, and create. But when the exercise is given to you and you manipulate it, you're playing with the energy of the grid. And when I say grid, I take this so seriously. Like, the energy has power. So if you're going to play with the grids, unless you have the understanding of how to break them, how to use them, please understand that there's a whole science that I work with. So don't try to manipulate or don't try to disrespect the guidance, because if that's not something that's hitting your heart, hitting your soul, if it's not grounding you, please don't do the exercise, because these exercises are really powerful. It's kind of like magic, right? So we're putting in magic into the world, and if you manipulate what you are creating, you are you're putting spells, vibration into the world that can be toppling for you. So just be wary of that. So I take this work like really spiritual, really into the quantum realm. So please be gentle with it and try to absorb as much as you can, and listen carefully, because that's what's happened on the planet, right? We've become so like, I know the way, right? I'm not going to listen to anybody else. But when you don't listen, you just keep absorbing the same thing over and over again, which is coming either from your past experiences or your internal world. We need to listen to the nature. We need to listen to something new for growth to to happen, you cannot be having that listening power really channeled in. I don't know who this is for, but anyway, I'm being guided to share this, so I'm just going to do it. Now for this exercise, just take a sheet of paper. There's no rocket science involved in this. Don't need many tools. I do have my eraser and my pencil. Just think of life. Take a nice deep breath in, and there's no grid today. All you have to do is you have to think of life. Now, what you can do is, if that's something that you want to, you can take your sheet of paper. I hope. Yeah. And you can take your sheet of paper and divide it into, so for example, you are 40 years old. So maybe divide it into 4 segments. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Because I'm 40. So I'm just going to go with that, 40 years old. Now, in your first life, second stage of your life, third stage of your life, and your fourth stage of your life. Now, life happens, you are changing, but life is also happening simultaneously, right? There's no time is just moving on. You're not stuck in this or this or this or this. So divide it and color this in whatever color you want. And then using a pen on top of the colored paper, define the colors with emotions, or it could be a feeling. Like if your childhood was happy and joyful, so think of like a sun. So maybe create a sun here, a bird here, a tree here, like a drawing like a child. The second stage, where did you go? You studied, so you can make that an impression of books or wall of your, like a wall of your university or something like that, something connected to your education, your knowledge, or whatever you did in your 20s. What did you do in your 30s? Crying baby. I did lots of socializing, so that kind of thing. Like you can do something here. Lots of people, you can just draw lots of people, dig 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 dig. And then this one can be something else, whatever you are doing right now. What are you connecting to? What's your dreams and all that? So visualize the 4 stages of your life, bring them all together, and just use those elements and colors. So if you don't use the elements, so you say, I don't know how to draw for whatever sake, just don't worry about it. Use the colors. So maybe happiness, or whatever frustration, whatever childhood you had, color this part, symbolizing that part of your childhood. It could be the color of your dress. For me, it was like light blue that's coming to me, like a powder sky blue. On a nice sunny day, sky blue is coming to me. That's how I remember my childhood. Then I went into my 20s, where I loved a dark, deep purple color shalwar kameez, and I looked really pretty in that. It had white lace with pearls on it. Oh my god, it was my favorite. Then I went into my 30s, which was all about, I had completely become very Gora, so everything about me was very westernized, and I had to kind of learn to be like that. But in that phase, I really expanded into somebody I never thought I would, and met some Buddhist friends with Buddhists, with different religions. I sat with Aboriginals and created art with them. So I had some amazing experiences of multicultural. So this one, I would probably have a segment of different colors that come through, defining the different things. But I'm also getting green, because green was the color where I lived. There was a botanical garden which I used to spend a lot of time in, so I would probably make it shades of green. Then as I reached my 40, I became so blue, it's not even funny. Like I opened my wardrobe and I'm all blue. So I probably do like a big deep dark blue, because I love night. And so probably I'll do like a night sky kind of color. So as you do these colors, just don't go with the imagery, just go with colors and feelings in these 4 segments, right? And then on top of that, with a pen or a marker or whatever comes to your hand, see if you can, while I'm talking to you, when I'm going to be narrating the section of the 2 names, all you have to do is, once you've got the 4 segments divided and colored in whatever colors you want, see, while I'm working, if you can just go around, like the movement of a feather or a leaf that falls from the tree, but don't go like go like just really slowly, like every second counts. value every curve, like value the way your hand is moving, and don't have an agenda or anything, just like drifting through the wind. This is a symbol of life happening, just life just kept happening. It didn't matter what phase you were in, but life just kept happening and time kept moving and you kept evolving and things kept happening and all that sort of stuff. So while you do this, and then what you can do is, you see these looping spaces here, color them in with your favorite color today. So all that you were and all that you went through and that what you are today, just those little blob things, like just color them in with your favorite color, but keep like lots of loops, make lots of spaces, go thin, go close, go big, go small. See how it shows just in a piece of paper. We brought the 40 years, we brought life and time moving, and we then brought you into the present moment of where you are going to be, right? So let's get started with that. You do that, you do you, and I will do the reading. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya Abadiyy, eternity before the first cause. Ya Azaliyy, time without respect to end. These names, Alhamdulillah, excuse me, these names loosely tie in with Ya Awwal and Ya Akhir, the one before all of creation, the one who will remain after the creation. He calls himself these names to guide us how limited our time is here on the planet. And when we don't value this gift of experience we call life, we are disrespecting something that Allah has gifted us out of love. You see, the reason you exist on this planet is because Allah loves you. You are alive, your heart is beating, you are breathing because He has chosen for you to be alive, for your heart to beat and your breathing to go on, because He loves you. And so He created this whole planet and gifted you the time and experience on this planet. Now, if you don't value this gift of time, of life that He has given you, you are disrespecting your Allah, right? You're disrespecting the gift that He has given you out of His love. He wants us to know this gift of time is limited so we can value it. He's already told us, like we don't have long on this planet. Like somebody said, like just a blink of an eye and then it's going to be over, right? Time just really passes fast. And so Allah wants us to know that this gift of time that He has is limited. He lets us know this beforehand only, that you don't have much time. So like the reason He's telling us this, that we don't have time, is because He wants us to value what He has given us. The reason He wants us to value it, because it is time that's going to keep passing by without my consent or wish. If in the time He has given you is not spent in working or coming closer to Him, then He will ask you, what is your time being used for, if not for the giver of that time? He says time is a gift that He's given you in this dunya, right? Then He has the right to ask you, if your time in this dunya has not been doing the things that bring you closer to me, then what has your time been going towards, for if not for the giver of that time, of that gift? So He wants us to value our time and use it best, thinking of ways to please Him. He doesn't want us to waste our time that He has gifted us in this world. Why does He need to tell us about Ya Abadiyy? Why? Why does He need to tell us eternity before the first cause? Like, why does He need to tell us that He was the one way before, like eternity before anything came into existence? And why did Azaliyy, like time without respect to the end, like why does He tell us about Azaliyy, that is the time that He was till there is no end to that to his existence. So we can understand that the only time we will ever be aware of is the time that he gives each and every one of us. Before and after us is the time that's not graspable by the mind, for it was never meant to be of our concern. The reason he's telling you, so for example, this is you, this is your time here. You only have this much time, limited time on this planet, and he gifts it to you, right? When he gifts this time to you, he wants to make you use it really well. And what is using well? By taking care that you do things in this time that you have in this dunya, doing the things that you come close to him. Now, if you are not spending your time coming close to him, then he, being Allah, will ask you that I gave you this, what did you do with it? Right? And if this time is not spent in coming closer to me, then what are you getting closer to? What are your attachments? What are you distracted by that you aren't focusing on me? Right? And so this is, now think of the hand on and the razor. It's a very silly example, but I'm still going to try and explain it to you. So this is your time, whereas Allah is here, beyond the hand, beyond what my mind can conceive, and there is no end, there is no limit. There's like this air, right? There's nothing there. You have this much time, whereas he cannot be grasped in time. So he wants you to know that he is here, he is here, he's here, he's here, he's here, time wise. He was before you, he's going to be after you, he's going to be beyond you, he's not going to be understandable by you. What you need to understand is this is him, so that you can value what he has gifted you. In this whole universe, you've been given this limited time, but he exists beyond time. He exists beyond the space. So you value what he has given you, because here is him, here is him, here is him, right? So your concern is not about what he does with his time. Oh, what is Allah doing? Is he creating more people, or is he creating more disasters? And why does Allah do this? Blah, 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 blah. You know, we question his existence. We don't need to focus on all of this. We need to focus on what are we doing? How are we making ourselves come closer to him? Now, I have a really funny example, but I think that it will make sense. It's like when we have things in our fridge. So I want you to think of your fridge, and it's got some food in it. We know that each food item that we have in our fridge has an expiry date, and we try to use them as best as we can, right? I hope so, with the time we have with them. So Allah's given you a fridge. Inside the fridge, you have these fruits and vegetables, and you try to make the best use of them in the time that they have, right? I am, or you are, only aware of the things in our fridge, not in the fridge of our neighbors, not in the fridge of my sister, not in the fridge of the president, right? Stuff in their fridge is none of my business, because it's not my fridge. And I can use what they have, and I can only choose from the things in my fridge, right? I can't go and say, can I use your stuff, that what you have, and can I use what they have? No, I can only choose from the things that Allah's given me in my fridge. And so the more I keep an eye on my fridge, the more I will be able to value what is in it. If I'm going around looking in other people's fridges, what food they have they used it or not, are they using it right, what delicious things they're making, all of that nonsense, what am I wasting? I'm wasting my time looking at other people's fridges, what they have in their fridge, and why they're not using what they're using. And I'm wasting all my time trying to work out their fridge contents. Whereas Allah is asking me to say, Hamna, I've given you a fridge. Go look inside. What have I given you? And you have only limited time for the spinach to be used, because otherwise it's going to get spoiled. How are you going to make the best food that you can have with that spinach? Go and focus on the things I have given you in your fridge, right? The more I'm able to value what is in my fridge, the more focus I will develop, the more and how I can make best use of that for the time they have, before they expire. So I won't let things go to waste because I will be using them as Allah has gifted them to me. Now, makes us value what we have and not waste it. Of course, when I know this fridge, Allah is talking about my life and the food inside it is the time. If I don't use my time in the right and bestest way that pleases Allah, I'm not valuing the gift He has given me. And so He, by making me conscious of the fridge and the fruit and all that, makes me value what I have in my fridge and not waste it. Think of everything that is in your fridge is a gift of Allah. And when you don't use that gift of Allah that He has blessed you with, you are wasting it. Try to best use it to get the nutrition we need. You cannot use rotten stuff, right? So you try to use it when it's in their bestest condition. So you try to use it and get nutrition out of it. Like if it's gone to waste, you can't really get any nutrition in your body. So you're going to make sure that you use it in a way that you get all the goody goodies in your body, like, nourish your body. Now you think of ways on how creative we can be with them. Are you going to make mutton chicken or mutton chicken? I don't even know what that is. Sorry. I'm going to just maybe I'm hungry. Allah Mia, please forgive me. Okay, so then we think of ways that, okay, I have this broccoli and I have this tomatoes and I have this green chili and then I have this. What can I really make with this? So your brain starts getting creative. So Allah gives you this fridge where you value the food that you have in it so that you don't waste it. You try to use it best before it's going to die because you need nutrition from it. Then think of ways that you look at something and you say, I'm going to make aloo chaat or I'm going to make fruit chaat with this. And, you become creative with it. Like your hands, you create, you take out, like using of the time and you're using it in a creative way. Helps us keep our focus on things we have rather than that what we don't. So I'm not worried about, oh my God, this just makes me wonder, when we have iftaris, then I can only make an iftari depending on what I have in my fridge. I can't make gulab jamun if I don't have the right flour, right? So I won't be worrying about what I don't have. I will look at like, okay, I can't make gulab jamuns today because I don't have it in my fridge. I'm going to do what I have, right? So then you focus on the things we have rather than that what we don't have. When we focus on what we have and we don't have time to compare or be competitive. When the time is limited, the iftari is coming really close and you have to make something really fast. You're not worried about like what is my neighbor going to make or what is blah blah is going to make, right? You don't care about other people. You have very limited time. You have to really, really focus on what you can do in that time to prepare and be creative to get the best nutrition out of the food that you have and value it so that you don't waste money or food, right? So stop being comparing yourself with other fridges, people's fridges, and stop competing how many dishes they have in their iftar, and you become really conscious that hang on, I'm going to be focused on what I can do with what I have, alhamdulillah, because all your attention is on your own fridge. Like you're not worried about other people's fridge. I know it's a silly example, but I hope that every time now you open your fridge, you say, Ya Azaliyy Ya Abadiyy, because He's the one who's gifted you all this fruit so that you, in this very moment, feel nourished and, are able to feed your families with that what He has provided you with the risk. Now, through these names, He takes us on a journey into valuing our blessings, meaning our time, using them well, creating it to nourish our souls, and be reminded to be grateful. You see, when you eat food, when you eat iftari, like you have amazing food that you've prepared from your own fridge, not from Padosi's fridges, right? You become really grateful, like, hi. Hi, what a fruit chaat I made. This was amazing. I'm so glad I had everything today in my fridge. And you're not worried about if it's good or bad or whatever. It's amazing. And you become very grateful for it. That what was is not now. That what is now won't be for too long. Allah wants you to focus on what you have, not what was in your fridge 10 years ago or what will be in your fridge 10 years later. You can't use food that was in your fridge 10 years ago, right? When you were 16 years old and your parents had a fridge, you can't use that food, what you had in the fridge today. Unless you can time travel, but I don't think everybody can. So Allah's telling you that you don't need to focus. Allah wants you to focus on what you have in your fridge right now. What can you do with the time that you have right now? Not what was in your fridge 10 years ago or what will be 10 years later. You can't use food that was in your fridge 10 years ago today. And that what you will have in 10 years later is completely unknown to you. We only have the knowledge of the now, like here in this very moment, where we are and what we have in our fridge is what we need to focus on. So when he says he is Ya Abadiyy and Ya Azaliyy, he is letting us know what he knows is beyond our knowing, and that what our mind can perceive, and vessel is capacity of holding. So vessel has the capacity of holding. So just hold what you have and know that that is all your focus needs to be. Don't worry about the job of Azaliyy and Abadiyy. He's the one who created time, right? He's the creator of everything that exists. So stop worrying about what will be. Stop worrying about what has been. Start thinking about what is. He takes the pressure off for the need to know, and he guides us to forgive that what was. You see, the future, he takes off the pressure through these names. Don't worry, I know what's going to happen. And then at the backwards, like in the past, what does he do? He guides us to forgive that what was. Let it go. Ya tawab. Move your sins. It's all over. Done. It's in the past. The past, we need to know about the past because we means we have no control. You see, we try to want to kind of look back and try and say, oh, we have no control, we didn't have control, or we don't have control in the past, right? And then future, he guides us to forgive. He wants us to literally, oh, sorry, wait, I made a mistake. So in the past, the need to know, he takes off the pressure of us for the need to know, right? So he's helping us by saying you don't need to know, don't worry about it, the past is done, right? Which means like I don't have control on my past. I can't go back and change anything. So let go of control. Then he guides us about the future, just guides us to forgive everything and anything, because that's how you will move forward. And peace. Why keep rotten stuff in your fridge? Smelly, disgusting, and ugly. You see, when you keep the food in your fridge for way too long, what are you going to do with it? It's all rotten, right? So you can't really eat it. So in the future, what will be, you don't know. So right now, you can't think about, I have aloo today, which will last me 10 years later. So let me just keep holding on to them because, I'll use it later. So Allah saying, don't, just forgive the aloo, leave it. If it's not working out, just move on and start thinking of how you can take care of the alus that you have which have survived. What you did doesn't exist, meaning that whatever happened in the past is gone. What you will do is non-existing. See how simple Allah says these things, and I'm just like, oh my god, what you did doesn't exist. You're not doing it today, right? You're not doing any sin or bad thing, or right now in this very moment as you're listening to me, what you did doesn't exist. What you will do is again non-existing. What you are doing is where you are right now. The more you focus your being into this very moment, the more you are able to connect to your Creator's energy to peace, harmony, and balance. The more you think about the past, the more you're going to want to try and control it. The more you actually think about your future, the more you're going to be using rotten stuff because it's all gone, right? So Allah wants you to not think about the past, and He doesn't want you to think about the present. He's the future, sorry, and He wants you to just remember that all you have to do is take care of your present right now in this very moment. When you focus all your energy in the now, you connect to Allah's energy all around you, and that energy of knowing that Allah is with you in this very moment, you feel at peace, you create harmony, and you have a sense of balance in your life. When you are in the now, you are completely detached from the past. You're not distracted by the future. You are in peace, surrender, and submission. When you are in surrender and submission, you are in the presence of Allah. For He is always listening, speaking, seeing, and knowing. In the presence of Allah, you are in a state of heaven, and in heaven, there is no time, no limited thinking, nowhere to be trapped. Nothing is expected of you, no tests for your Iman, for you have completed those tests and you are now with your Allah in heaven in this very moment. In heaven, you are with Allah. So by Him guiding you of these names, He wants us to focus on what we have right here, where we are right now, what we are doing in this moment, and let Allah do what He wills, for He has been before your brain even started working and after it's going to stop working. So keep yourself, be focused only and only that what you can manage here in the now and in this very minute. Don't carry the past into your future, and don't let the future be defined by your past. Let the journey of life unfold with Allah by your side, creating heaven on earth for yourselves and for others, inshallah. Heaven on earth, unseen to seen. Can you see that what you will be creating today? Did you see on the sheet of paper? Did you know what you would be creating today before you started creating? Of course not. Do you know what you will be making use of what you have created today? That thing, that artwork that you're working on, what are you going to use it for? Do you know that? Do you know what you'll be doing, using it for? No, not really. So before you even started creating today, you didn't know what you were going to create. And that what you are creating in this very moment, do you know what it will be used for? You don't know that also. You can't see the piece you will create. You have no idea. Your eyes can't see it because it's white, right? When you don't know the use of the piece that you'll be creating. You don't know if you'll make it into a card, a bookmark, throw it in the bin. What are you going to do with it? You have no idea. All you are choosing to do is create. You're not worried about, anything else right now. You're just creating. Allah knew what He was creating before He was creating His creation. SubhanAllah. Amazing. Allah knows what He will be using His creation until when it will exist. You and I did not know what we were going to be creating. You and I do not know what our creativity is going to be used for tomorrow, or if there will be any use or not. But Allah knew what He was creating before He created creation. Allah knew what you were going to create before you started creating anything on the sheet of paper. Allah knew and Allah knows what will be the use of that what you are creating. And He knows what He will be using His creation until when it will exist. No matter how much you plan, no matter how much your knowledge, how much knowledge you accumulate, where Allah plans to birth you and what He plans to use you for is His wish. And when we are too stuck in the past, we judge Allah We judge what he has chosen to gift us. And when we are too anxious about the future, we are resisting what he wants to gift us. You see, we need to stop judging our past, and we have to stop resisting what he wants to give us. We constantly judge our past and we constantly resist what he wants to give us. Judging our past means we don't like the story he has written. We don't like what happened to us, so we judge it, right? Resisting the future means resisting the future to unfold as he wills. What that means is when we resist it, when we resist our future, we don't like what he wants to use us for. We're saying, we don't like the story that you've written for us, so I'm going to judge my life. And then I don't know what you're going to give me in future, so I don't like the past that you've given me, that, and I don't know what you're going to be using me for, and I don't like what you want me to be used for. So we're telling Allah that when we judge our past, what we're actually saying to Allah is, I don't like your story that you've written for me. And when we resist the future that is unfolding as his will, we're saying to him, I don't like what you want to use me for. Astaghfirullah. Oof, the past story was our training to be who we are today. If you did not have the past that you did, or the experience in the people that you were gifted, you would not be that person who you are today, who's trying to write Allah's name and create with consciousness to connect to him in Ibadat. You would not be this person. You would not be this close to him. You would not feel his presence around you if you were not that person who needed to go through the training that was given to you in the story that was your past. The use he has for us is our purpose. It's the purpose to do our ibadat of him. That is his use. He wants us to be in worship of him. By judging our past, what is it that we're doing? We are saying he made a mistake in writing my story. If only he did that, if he only gave me such and such family, if I did not have parents who divorced, if I had parents who didn't divorce or did divorce, or if I had a mother like that, or if I had a brother like that, if I had a sister like that, if I was like that, if my husband was like that, all of this, that when we say this, we're saying that when we're judging our past, we're saying he made a mistake in writing our story. And we're telling him, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you make my mother this way? Why didn't you make my daughter that way? Why didn't you make my husband this way? We're telling Allah, when we judge our past, when we question our past, when we question our journey, we're saying to him, you made a mistake. Your story has faults. We're saying to Allah, when we're judging our past, that the story that you wrote is a mistake. It would have been better if I had this, 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 this. Your story has faults. Which means to say that the training that he gave us to make us who we are in this very moment was not satisfactory for us. He needed to do something else so that we could be something else, because I'm not happy with the way I am. So everything, my past, when I judge my past and question it, I'm actually saying Allah made a mistake, and Billah, or that my story had faults. I want you to really, really listen to this again. By judging our past, we are saying he made a mistake in writing your story. If only he did that and gave me that, and took away that, blah, blah, blah. We are saying he made a mistake. His story has faults. His training to make us who he needed for us to be is not satisfactory to us. By resisting and always being anxious of the future, for it to be that as he wills, we are saying, when we're resisting, what are we saying to Allah? We are saying we don't trust you. We don't trust him for the past. He did do blah, blah, blah. He did this, he did that, he did da, 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 da. So how will he give me anything in the future? The past is defining your future. So you're either stuck in the past or you're trying to be in the future. You're not in the now. For in the now is when you are with Abadiyy and Azaliyy. We are saying we don't trust him for the past that he gifted us. So how will he give me anything in the future? So you're in a space where you feel hopeless in your Allah. And you think that because your story that he had written that you had to live through was too hard or whatever it was, he made a mistake, or it's a faulty story that you had to live through. Now he's given you this faulty story. It's going to be repeated again in the future. So what's the point? Why do I even want to connect to him? That's resisting the future. That's saying that whatever you've done before, you're going to do it again, Allah. That's limiting Allah. That's trying to say, oh, I know what Allah's going to be doing. Because in the past, He never did it. So he's going to do the same thing again. मेरे साथ तो ऐसे ही होता है. We are saying He doesn't keep His promise. Astaghfirullah. That is how what we are saying. When we're resisting our future, we're too dependent and stuck on the past. So we're not really seeing the good that He will send us for. That's what He says. Turn to me and I will increase you. Thank me and be in gratitude and I will increase you. We're saying, no, you don't. No, you messed up my whole story in the past, so I don't trust you, and so you did something faulty. My story is like a mistake, and so you're gonna do the same thing again. So you're not trusting that he will keep his promise. We are not in surrender or submission, and so how can we be in sajda at peace? We do sajda, we do like, oh yeah, Allah is this, I love Allah, I love my Rabb, I love my God, blah blah blah, but we resist the future, we don't believe in him. So through these names, he wants you to be fully present and practice these 5 things that I will be sharing with you. Gratitude for what you have been given. Keep looking in your fridge for whatever it is that you have in your fridge was given to you by your Allah. So keep your focus on your fridge and be in gratitude. Gratitude for what you have been given. Number 2, focus on your own gifts and stop comparing and competing with other people. Focus on your own gifts and stop comparing and competing with other people. Number 3, trust that who is the creator of time and all that exists. Trust in the one who is the creator of time and all that exists. When you trust that Allah is the creator of time and all that exists, what that means is that you let go of your worries. For you know that He will only do the good with the time that He has gifted you. Because He loves you. Why would He give you a bad time? Why would He want you to have a bad time on this planet and live in misery? How are you going to remember Him in misery? He wants you to have a good time. He wants you to connect to Him. For in peace, you're not going to be in peace, right? If you're not, if you're agitated, if you're angry and whatever. So when you trust that who is the creator of time and all that exists, you understand that even that it feels like really hard, really tricky, it is still a blessing of Allah, whatever it is that you're going through. For Allah does not create anything that but which is out of love and is beautiful. So the time that He has created for you on this planet is going to be beautiful because that's what He creates, beauty. Number 4, value the gift of time by using it in ways by keep coming closer to Him. Whatever it is that you do in your life, value the time that you have and think of doing things that bring you closer to Him in your daily life. Not like, oh, once a week I will sit and, think of Allah. Every single day. Value the gift of time and use it in ways to keep coming closer to Him. Every day, do something that brings you closer to Him. Number 5, this is the last one. There is not a single moment He is not with you. Be in constant communication with your Allah through all that you see, all that you feel, all that you hear, and all that you know. When you do these 5 things, you will increase the presence of Ya Abadi and Ya Azaliyy in your life. And when you do the tasbih, the connection of these five things that you need to do with these two names, you are going to create magic in your life by attracting so much peace, so much time. There will be abundance in your time, and I'm not lying. It truly happens. You literally expand your minutes, and there's all you sit there going, hey, the day is still there still is only 2 o'clock. Hey, but I've done so much. It's only 2 o'clock. Because so many people lack time because they constantly are doing things that do not bring you closer to Allah. So you see, when you are doing what you were created to do, your time expands. When you're doing things that you weren't created to do, your time's going to run out. And you're not, because you're not valuing your time. You're not putting the things that you need to put in your time. Thank Him for all you have gone through to be where you are today, and be extremely excited for what's to come ahead, which will be from His blessing, inshallah. And most importantly, be at peace, knowing He is with you in this very moment, every single second, every single minute, every single millisecond. And for even when your time ends, He's going to be with you, and His time will never end. It actually can never end. He is Ya Azali, Ya Abadi, and Ya Baqi. I am sending you lots of love, lots of light, and lots of magic your way today. May your time be expanded. May Allah bless you with peace in your time and give you the ease of doing worship and connecting to Him through whatever it is that you choose to connect. Please keep me in your duas. If this session brings you any kind of clarity, understanding, insights, do share them in the comments, because what that does is it is a beautiful way of energy exchange. When you leave a comment and I read it, the feeling that I have is shared between you and me. I send you that feeling, what I feel, and you send me that feeling, writing the comment what you feel. And in the quantum field, we connect at energy level, and we're able to take care of each other and be there through a world that is unseen but is the most beautiful and real. So you are connected to me, and if you enjoyed this video or you feel like somebody needs to hear this, please share it with them. Like, share, subscribe, and help me share Allah's light through this platform with more hearts, so that we can bring in more healing, and also share the love of Allah's blessings of these names, inshallah ta'ala. Have an incredible day. I love you. Take care, and I'll speak to you inshallah tomorrow. Allah Hafiz.